Before we get started, I'm going to have you become the presenter so that I can see your screen. And I'm going to kind of give you some information at the beginning, and then we can actually go into looking at the website. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. So basically, I'm just kind of going to walk you through the website, maybe have you do a few tasks. We're basically just trying to see if we created a website that is easily used, user friendly, and it works as we intended. The website we have right now is a mock-up, right? Not a real website, so not everything is clickable, not everything is functional, but it's just trying to see if the flows we did create do work. So on that note, we are trying to see if it works. So if there is anything that you don't like or is unclear to you, or um, things you do like, we want to hear everything so that we can improve the website. We're not testing you, we're just testing the website. So you can say anything. I obviously won't be offended. And yeah, so like just honest reactions here. And if you, as you go through the website, I'm going to ask you to think out loud as much as possible. So say what you're looking at and what you're trying to do, and what you're thinking. So if you have any questions as we do go along, I'm going to try not to answer them unless it's necessary, just because I'm trying to see how this website performs when someone who doesn't know it is using it instead of having someone walking them through it. So if you still have those questions at the end, I'll try to answer them then if possible. And with your permission, I'm going to record this today. So it's only going to be used by me and a few members of my team. No one else will see it or hear it, and it'll just be like your screen and the voice. So if you can just give me verbal permission that you're okay with that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So before we get into the actual screens, I'm going to ask a few just basic questions. So what school do you go to and what year are you?
I go to Ohio State and I'm a grad student.
You're a grad student?
Yes.
And what are you there studying?
Public health.
Okay. How many hours a week do you think you spend on the internet in total? It's just an estimate, a week.
I don't know, 15 hours, 20 hours.
And do you have any favorite websites or websites you spend a lot of time on?
No, it varies.
Okay. So I'm going to send you this link in the chat in this, the conference call chat.
Yeah.
When you get the link, kind of just, like I said, look around, tell me what you make of it. You can, what strikes you about it, what you think, what you like, what you don't like. If anything confuses you, I'd love to hear that too. Just kind of give me your narrative of what you're seeing and what you're thinking. And you can scroll around for now, but don't click on anything quite yet.
Okay.
Did you get it?
Um, yes. One second. Do you mind telling me some background and all that so I have that before?
See that part of the point is like if you're going to this website blindly. So I don't want to give you too much background on what the website does or what you're looking for, because I kind of want to see how someone would, if they like happened upon this website, how they would react to it and how they would navigate it.
Okay, sure. One second.
Have you clicked on the link?
Yeah, one second. Um, Okay.
So again, just like talk out loud. What draws your eye? What are you making of this website? Kind of just give me what you're thinking when you're looking at it.
I mean, the search bar is pretty big, so that kind of is like the one main thing you see at the beginning. I mean, the stuff that says like millions of documents, that seems very unrealistic. Even the 50% on textbook, like there's no indicator of how that actually is valid numbers. The homework help part is a bit vague. If it's 24/7, is that really in real time, or is it like, you know, you have to wait? I guess it's like the possibility of 24/7, but is it really 24/7? Content fair, so that part looks good. Study documents, that looks good. I mean, I think the graphic is good. I think the top part is very, the search bar and the three topic points, whatever. I think that part could be, UI could be enhanced a bit.
In terms of,
I just think it's very simple and plain. The background doesn't catch the eye as well. I know it's like more minimalistic, but it's like compared to some of the stuff down here with some, you have more images and icons. And I think some sort of like, not animation, because animation is now outdated, but something that is perhaps a video or some like real life example, I think helps to catch the eye at the beginning. Because at the moment it seems very much like a normal like study website. And it doesn't seem anything different besides the fact that it curates content.
what is a normal study website? Could you give me like an example or
I mean, like Chegg or like, I mean, any of like the various websites that you see people posting in like various study groups that exist. Like at the moment, it doesn't seem anything like out of the world. And so I think perhaps the message could be better identified as what's the selling point and why you guys are different than everyone else. Yeah, I mean, that's what I see from like the homepage.
Okay, so based on what you've seen so far on this page, can you kind of give me a summary of what you think this website does? Don't click on anything yet, though.
Yeah, I mean, overall, it takes content from different websites, puts them together through some sort of curation tool to help people with studying and schoolwork and things like that.
Okay, and what kind of feeling do you get from this website? That's like kind of a strange question, but do you kind of understand what I'm getting at?
Yeah, I mean, I think the feeling of, I'm assuming you guys are trying to go for a feel of like warm, welcoming.
Sorry, I couldn't hear what you said.
I said, I'm assuming you guys are trying to go for like a warm, welcoming feeling. I see that's somewhat there. It's a little bit lacking. I think the colors maybe could, at least at the top, could be improved. I think the colors on the bottom, which like the light pink, purple, green, and blue, and are more attractive and give that, you know, feeling of like, because essentially when people go on these sort of websites, they're thinking, okay, I'm like very stressed out. I need something that's going to help me out. And they want that sort of feeling as soon as they come to something. And so you want that sort of feeling to be had when a user comes to your website, to not make them feel overwhelmed or more, you know, stressed out. Like, you know, they're not going to be able to find what they were trying to find, or they're not going to get what they're trying to get.
And you don't feel like that's being achieved from the top part, is what you're saying?
No, I think it's a lot less up here than it is, I think, down here. I think the colors and things like that help down here. But I think the top is more yeah, it's not as welcoming.
So, based on what you're seeing also on this page, what do you think you would be inclined to click on? What do you think would be clickable? And if you did click on that, don't click on anything yet. Just again, we're just staying on this page. But if you did click on those things, what do you think you would see there?
Um, I mean, I would click on the search bar. I would assume maybe some sort of drop down would come down of like most commonly searched things, or um, I would maybe look at the guide, the features in the mobile app. That's probably not my first inclination though. Um,
What do you think you would find in each of those?
I mean, a guide of how the guide would be how to use it, features of like what do you guys have, or what can the site do, or what the app does. Mobile app, I'm assuming how to download it. It would be a link or some sort of page where it discusses how to download and install it. And that's just basically informational. I wouldn't click on anything else.
Okay. Um, is there anything on this page or like a feature that you've kind of gathered we do that you kind of feel like we should feature more or that you would use more than the others?
Um, I mean, I think really defining how, I mean, I think the study document is important. And showcasing how you guys are actually curating the content is helpful because there's a lot of like different individual sites out there right now. And so how is that content being curated and how are you determining like what's actually useful and not useful? And I think having some sort of like, because I think people want information as to how is this actually like good and how is it not just some of the same.
Okay. So next, you can go ahead and click on the search bar. And once you do that, don't click on anything again and kind of just tell me what you're seeing, what you think of it, etc.
Um, so these are examples, I'm assuming, of things I can type in. I think some sort of categories would be helpful first because I think everything, like these are very, like I could easily see all of these things and none of them be relevant to me. And then just immediately get turned off because like, okay, so these are some examples. So if there's some like broader categories of things that would help, and then that would help define more. Like if you clicked on the search bar and they have some categories up here, you can select them. And even like you can the ability to select multiple categories and then it, provides you a list of things. I think the this part here is should be very careful in terms of like what people actually see because if it's not something that they one are interested in, two don't need to even know, or three is out of their like level of knowledge. Like say I'm in Calc 1 and there's like a linear algebra, but like what if I need a Calc 1? Like assuming this wasn't here. Like they're like, okay, but like I don't like that's not in my that's like not what I need to know. So I think, it could be like a turnoff in terms of like, I think you have very limited amount of time to like capture somebody and keep somebody on the page. So I think like, you always talk about bounce rate and bounce rate's always super important. And I think that's something like New like could potentially like reduce or like increase the bounce rate off the site. So
When your first reaction to this was that to like it was off-putting to you, or are you just saying in general?
I mean, I'm saying in general, I think it is a little bit off-putting to me as well, because there's no like everything is very, very diverse and broad, which is a good thing in some ways, but it like doesn't. It's not also comforting at the same time if like I don't know what to search, or if I know what I need, but I don't know how to search for it. So
Okay. So now these are clickable. You can see what you can click. You can go ahead and click the class notes and calculus. And then once you get to the page, let's just pause and see what happens there. No. Oops. Sorry, my computer just went black. So now I'm going to actually give you a task. So your task now, I'll send this to you in the messages so you can have it written down. But for this, you're going to try to personalize your profile. And you are a student at the University of Michigan, and you're taking two classes, Econ 1100 and Stat 101. So I will send you these in the chat, and I'm going to not help you here. Just try to do that without any assistance from me. I just kind of want to see whether it's a natural flow of events. Hold on.
Do you want me to click on personalize?
Yeah, go ahead and click on personalize, and then I just sent you the thing in the chat, and go ahead and try to do that again. I'm gonna kind of stay quiet unless you really need my assistance. Try not to click around just because it is going to give you hints on how to do it with those highlights. So just kind of do what you would normally do if you were.
Yeah, I mean, normally I would click on it. So I would assume then.
Yeah, so you can't, sorry, you can't type on this website, so it's going to autofill for you for some of them, but otherwise what you would normally do.
Okay, stats is not there, so. Yeah, stats 101 is not there. So. Yeah. So this isn't very intuitive because I would assume that the class is there, and like even if it's the ad, I don't think the ad is part is very intuitive.
Okay. So you don't, just before we move on here, you don't think the ad is intuitive?
No,
If you,
because I wouldn't think to add a class.
if
Normally,
you didn't see your class, would that deter you, or would you just not add the class?
yeah, I think it would deter me. One, two, I wouldn't think to necessarily add the class because normally if everything is already there, like it's like a course selection thing, right? You're assigned to search for a class, and it's similar to that sense. If the class isn't there, it's not there.
And so what would your reaction be if you didn't see your class?
I would just hit done. I wouldn't add it because the add function just doesn't seem like something I would necessarily try to do or think about doing even.
So when you searched stat in that situation and you didn't see it, did you notice the ad course thing? And did you know what it was for?
I didn't originally.
Once you did notice it, did you know what it was for?
Yeah, I kind of. I don't think it was very like. I think it was kind of like within everything, if that makes sense. So it didn't really stand out or anything.
So you think the design should be more?
Yeah, I think design should be more like intuitive to, like at least a message of saying if your class doesn't exist, like please add it here. Something as simple as like change the entire like view of it.
Okay. So now that you've done that, we're kind of on this results page. Kind of talk me through what you're seeing here, what you think of it, and just narrate your thought process here.
So I guess this here is like different things I can do and find and see, basic sorting sort of thing. Now my course is filtered by source, and that's pretty basic by date, I would assume. This here is just like a listing of all the stuff that was returned. This sort of thing here, I found some sweet quizzes, flashcards seem very not kind of cheesy. It's just saying it looks like not as professional, I think.
Mm-hmm. Do you like the suggestions? Do you like that box, but not like the copy in it or the way it looks? Or do you just wish the box weren't there?
I don't even think it should be there, because theoretically, like, why is somebody saying that they found some and like I have to click on to show me like I want the results and I want them like without having to do anything.
So,
Uh,
what are these results that you're seeing?
I mean, they're just various documents I see, right? Just notes and things that people have posted on different websites, um, with some description and a preview image.
What do you think
Um,
about the amount of information you're getting per result and the way it looks?
um, it's very limited, I think. I have no idea like how many pages this is, when it was submitted, by who was submitted, which I think is all relevant information because if it's someone from like a teacher or something submitting, or like someone who's like a TA or something in like calculus, that's a lot more different than like a random student that's submitting it. Um, and even just like how many pages it is, because normally stuff that's longer is more comprehensive. Um, and
What do you think these bubbles up top are? So, if you were to click on flashcards, the red flashcard, don't click. But if you were, what do you think would show up?
I mean, I would assume it's just flashcards based on class notes in calculus, things from like Quizlet or something like that. Tutors would be tutors in the area that can do calculus stuff, textbooks, textbook calculus, jobs pertaining to like teaching calc or becoming a tutor or something. Um, Foods and deals is just whatever food near my wherever I am.
Okay. And what about ask a question?
Ask a question, just ask a question. If I have a question to ask.
If you were to do a completely new search, how would you go about that?
Going to the search bar and just typing in whatever I need to type in.
And if you wanted to file this down to like not only class notes in calculus, but class notes in your class Calc 102, how would you do that?
Just going here and clicking on the filter.
Okay, you can go ahead and click there now. So again, tell me what you're seeing, what you think of it.
It looks exactly the same. I see this here showing that I'm like filtering by Calc 102, but everything else looks exactly the same.
Um, so now you can go ahead and click on the red flashcards. So talk to me about what you're seeing here.
Same exact thing. I guess I noticed the color difference. I didn't notice it before, really. But like the colors lining up. Um, I would assume these are flashcards based on the different topics here. I think this one is still the same, which is weird, because this says it's a report. So I don't know why that's showing up under flashcards. I don't really know if these are flashcards. I know Quizlet's a flashcard site, so I don't know if these are actually flashcards. I'm assuming this description is just scraped from the description on whatever the site is being pulled from. And sometimes those descriptions aren't the best, and so I don't know how much this description helps me here to knowing what this actually has inside of it. So definitely something that, having some, like if there's a more intuitive web scraper or whatever is doing API that can pull different keywords and kind of categorize things or have some sort of descriptors or tags for like these different things. Because right now it's just like a straight search result and there's no like way to like know more information without clicking on it and knowing, and without like besides the description and like clicking on it.
So this is the last page I'm going to have you look at. I have a few more questions. And then if you have any questions for me, we can go there. But to start, so now that you've seen a bunch of different pages and a little bit of the website, do you feel like you have an understanding of what the website does? And if so, can you just give me a summary?
Yeah, I mean, I think the summary is pretty much the same as what I said before.
Okay.
I don't have new impressions.
And if you, now that you've seen more pages, how does this website make you feel?
Um, I mean, the user interface is very basic.
So can
I
you
don't.
elaborate on basic? Is it
Yeah,
HTML?
I mean, it's minimalistic. It's more your typical standard buttons with a filter and some search results. Um, it's clean, I think, um, which isn't a bad thing either, which is kind of a good thing. Um, and yeah,
So as a graduate student or someone who's was recently in college, sorry, those are just for the mock-up website. Ignore those. Um, is this a service you see value in or would use yourself?
um, honestly, no, only because I don't know if if the content would be like relevant to me necessarily. Slash, I don't know if I would find value in the content if it was relevant, if I would actually use it. Um,
Do you use any online services to help you with school now or when you were in undergrad?
I mean, I use Quizlet and things, but I mean, a lot of this could just be done very like using a Google search. And so that at the moment it seems a little bit like this, except it's a little bit more categorized for like things like study documents and flashcards. But at the end of the day, if you know how to like narrow things down on Google with like limited search engines, like advanced searches and things, I don't know how much different this is. Um, and so I guess that's where, and I think the other thing is like a lot of times what I've seen with different websites like this is it's more of like a claim and then not being able to hold the claim. Um, and so I think like really showcasing the ability and like acknowledging what all this platform can do that is different from the others is like one of the strong ways to go. I think there's like general perception right now of like these sort of websites that everyone is spinning them up. And you see a bunch of them getting talked about and posted about in various groups, but nothing has really flourished in any sort of way. Like you have the normal like Quizlet and I'm blanking on the other one.
Chegg, Coursera, Study Blue.
Study Blue is one. If I go back to the homepage, and Chegg, that was the other one. So like Quizlet and Chegg are probably like the two, and Study Blue. Um, Study Blue a little bit less, but like Chegg and Quizlet probably like the two like top ones that you actually like see being utilized. Um, and so like this just has to have enough traction and like showcase its ability like well, and that it can it's different.
So if you had, if you were on this website, would you want to create a profile or like an account? Or
If I
would
just went to the showing at the very beginning.
yeah, like if you entered your classes and you were using this website, is this something you would want to make an account on, or would you kind of just come to this for function?
I know I would just come to it for function. I don't think I would make any account.
Okay. Um,
I found myself using it like very regularly. Yeah.
how do you feel about the fact that if you did click on, let's say you clicked on tangent and normal lines, it would open in a new tab on Quizlet.com. So like you can't click on it, sorry, but it would open a new tab in your browser to whatever the source was.
Yeah, I think that would be better. I mean, I don't know if it would be better, but I think that would be fine to some degree. Um,
Is this a service you could ever see yourself using on your phone?
I mean, yeah, I think I could potentially. I think more maybe on my phone than not. But again, it depends on where I'm at. Like if I'm in class or something and I wanted to see it on my phone, maybe. If I'm like in the library, then I'm most likely having my computer, so I'll just use my computer.
Mhm.
Uh,
And if you were to use it on your phone, would you prefer to just use a browser website or would you prefer an app?
I mean, probably an app because 9 times out of 10, apps are much smoother than mobile design websites and faster as well. So.
So you actually think you would download an app for a service like this?
I don't know if I could say I would download an app, but if I had to choose between using an app and a mobile website, I'd probably use the app.
And so you said you use Quizlet. Have you ever paid for any of the other services?
I tried the trial. I used a trial of Chegg, but I never used any of the services, I guess, that intensely. So I never found a need to pay for any of the services.
Hmm.
Whatever the free basic options were enough for me. So
So if you did kind of see the value in, or like want to pay for those, would you ever see the value in having like a bundle of a few? So let's say instead of paying $15 for Chegg, you pay 20 or 25 and get Chegg, Course Hero, Study Blue, and all together and cheaper than if you paid for each individually.
probably, I mean, I think it would be an option. I think as long as it's like still reasonably priced, and something that's like not past the threshold of like college students thinking is too expensive.
What do you think
Uh,
the threshold is for you? What is reasonably priced for you?
I mean, at most five, at most 10, maybe 15 a month. I think that's even pushing it. But like 5 to 10 is like probably my range.
Okay. So that was actually my last question. Do you have any questions for me while we're here?
Yeah, I guess I'm kind of curious now. Like, what's the motivation behind this? How did this start? What's your role in this?